like drop down. It's a really amazing thing. It's a beautiful song, Colleen.
It was written by my bandmate Jordan.
All right, so we want to go up and rightward.
That was the answer to Seth Green's question. Will the world end in 2012? Can you give us a little bit of background on that?
Well, that song was written as a response, actually as a response to everyone that we play with.
Okay, I remember the bike chain thing. Yep.
Around the U.S. who always say, the world is going to end, the world is going to end. And
that's a hop back up. All right.
Pictures the world ending as actually a new beginning.
Dumbass.
And the new beginning is flowers and gardens and people riding their bikes everywhere and whales in the ocean. And, you know, the new beginning is actually the death of one.
Take the death. Actually, no. Let's, I should play the game.
Because you referenced Atlantis earlier, which is like
Please just end me.
Similar kind of situation.
Checkpoint's coming. I'm sorry.
Were you able to hear the song?
Left, then right. All right. Okay. Yeah, I remember this now.
Sure. What do you think about that as the answer to your question?
I just had so many images of Woody Harrelson and John Cusack in my head.
That's really
okay, so hit this and then head left, I think, at the top.
It's tough. The soundtrack was obviously so positive, and then all the imagery in my head is just so horrifying.
So what is 20? So for you, 2012 is like more of the.
We're gonna jump it a little later, but I'm pretty sure that's how we want to get over there.
The media spin on it. When you think of 2012, what do you think of? Because I know you're a very life affirming person.
Okay, they do hurt me when I touch them.
2012. I mean, it's 2 years away.
Yeah. So live it up, basically.
There we go. That's better.
I mean, just in case, right?
Exactly.
Oh, damn it.
Well, I mean,
I was expecting that head bump.
Add to that. The only
people could give me like a hoot woot.
Yeah, that would
work.
The only thing that I thought of was, what's been coming up a lot for me, or when I think about when people talk about this sort of apocalyptic feeling or these concerns about 2012, is the bees.
It also finally occurred to me that these are like
the thing about being reborn as bumblebees.
Brown paper, like brown paper towels, actually, like the kind you get on the big roll.
This kind of question.
In a public restroom.
I noticed that there's stuff around the bees, and
that's interesting too, because the first song that I sang tonight talked about you can look for me with all the disappearing bees. So it's been a reoccurring theme.
Go. Okay. And then if we drift over, we can hit the platform above the eraser. Got it. Oh.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm like, why is all these dead bees here?
You know why it is? It's because what that film was getting into, because of the Pan Mercury Jesus thing. You're like.
Oh, he's a lady boy.
To planet Jupiter, and so the bees are like giving up their corporal bodies and like.
Okay, but I can stand on his back. That's helpful-ish.
I mean, I know that when we were working on the attic expeditions, that happened all the time.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
If I can get there with enough help, I think we can make that.
Well, Seth, one of the things we're doing here is we're giving away. There's a local video store that's giving away DVDs of films you've been in. We really to the guests here. What we gave away?
Got it. Okay.
Robot Chicken, Star Wars Volume 2.
Oh, don't. I hope not for your kids, though.
No, it's a mostly adult crowd, I think. Pump Up the Volume, which I did.
No, I'm trapped on the stupid bug.
And then of course Austin Powers.
Oh yeah,
which,
a couple people saw that.
A couple people saw that film.
Pump Up the Volume though is actually a really awesome movie.
It really is.
I don't know how I didn't see that.
Got it. So watch it up here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's nudity in it.
I will say the checkpoint placement's pretty solid in this too.
Wait, tell us what were you going to say about Pump Up the Volume?
What's that?
What were you going to say about Pump Up the Volume?
It's just a cool movie about like teenage rebellion and angst.
Yeah, we're not going to survive that.
It was like his foray into dramatic acting.
It's interesting with you being the Fisher King, working with Christian Slater.
Right.
Come on.
I told you it's not easy to tie it all together.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to have outed you and make it impossible for you to ever play a guy named Dan ever again.
No. There'll be a couple more.
Okay. Seth, it's great. I really appreciate you coming on the show and being able to play along with us. And you know, good luck in all things, and I'll look forward to
I think we got to start that jump over a little earlier, like maybe right as soon as it goes off screen.
Thank you, Seth.
Once we work the timing out for that, and land on the damn thing.
Good night.
Night.
Seth Green.
Okay.
That's a sign of our celebrity going back in.
Oh, Skype noises. Damn.
And it was sort of a confluence of really 3 threads.
Okay.
One was that I started to read Philip K. Dick on my own mostly, although I ended up writing my senior thesis.
All right. Checkpoint.
More of a personal passion, and I became completely obsessed.
My question is, how do I get up there, though?
with his world and the problem of what kind of did he have a religious experience?
Ah.
Did he go crazy? The mixture of Gnosticism and technology.
Drop underneath.
It really resonated with me really very deeply and still does. That was one thing.
Okay.
And the other
Now
thing,
we'll wait for this ride on the left here.
to read
That took a little bit. We figured it out.
Gnostic texts, and I sort of found out about Gnosticism because one of the professors at Yale, the famous Harold Bloom, would talk about Gnosticism as a kind of existential position. He actually
Oh, okay. I guess I have to wait for that gator mouth to be shut while that's
describing it as a scholar,
in range.
but actually kind of embraced it in a certain sense as an answer to the problem of why is there so much suffering in the world.
Hopefully this
There's
rotation?
obviously
Yes.
some kind of juicy,
Nope.
mystic yumminess.
Damn it. All right, we got
Well, and so he talked about
an achievement for Bardo Lover. I don't know what that means.
and Kabbalah and other Hermeticism. And he was sort of an interesting, and a very secular, intellectual, literary critic who nonetheless drew from the occult kind of material that you and I have been attracted to for so long.
Spice me up, calm. We'll get there.
It got me interested, and I started to read the primary sources because they're not that long. They're kind of interesting. And then the third element
You are a bastard.
was really a kind of a way of thinking intellectually.
This whole section's
and
here.
philosophically about technology and the problem of technology.
I can't jump up through platforms either. We've determined that.
Ideas of simulation and the simulacra. There was a very famous French
Okay, so I can stay on as long as the mouth is opening but not flaming. That's also
Baudrillard. He was
good to
really
know.
full on. He was saying no.
Ah, we jumped back on that platform, but I'm gonna end up taking the bug hit and not having a good time.
It's just everything is just a model
Yeah.
of something that doesn't actually exist, and
This is
we've shifted into this new world
rough.
that's sort of no longer real. It's hyper real, and
Okay.
kind of that crazy French overthinking in a way. But it was very sci-fi. It really triggered that kind of science fictional sort of existential, but also fascinated attempt to really look at technology as something that was not just adding to
That was close, but we got it. Okay.
or changing human culture, but was in some sense transforming the very fabric of what
I just.
was
Why didn't I think to float for it sooner?
as part of human experience.
All right, so
And so these 3 things, a kind of ancient impulse that there was something profound within Gnosticism, this kind of heretical response to the kinds of moments we see with Christianity or with Judaism.
got it. Okay.
More paranoid, more critical, more strange, and then triangulate
Finally.
with contemporary ideas.
Oh, now he's doing shooty flames. That's uncalled for.
Politics. And
Ah, come on, man. Well, I guess that's why they put that there.
and that really kind of got me going, and I just kept
Oh,
following
you
that
bastards.
connections to this point where technology
Anyway, my luck, I gotta jump back up.
overlapped. Every story that we take, even the most rational stories, the most
On that thumbtack.
scientific descriptions of reality, once those are things that we kind of take on
Ah.
as ways to live or as ways to understand the world,
Okay, so we got.
tend to take on
I guess it's a
these
map making item?
more mythological, psychological, and in some
Yeah.
cases,
Oh, we have a spring now, too.
overtones, even if we think we're just
What
doing
was the third
science or
one?
just being rational people. And I saw this over and over again, and the more I started to look for it, then the more examples of these kinds of issues that I found. And Norbert Wiener, also in other ways, very freely drew from religion and religious ideas. He drew from the idea of the golem in Jewish Kabbalah, the sort of idea of creating a creature that you kind of control, but then kind of goes off on its own and does its thing, which is, different than the Gnostic idea.
Oh, maybe I can get across to the.
Same sort of occult hermetic stream that runs through Western history.
I think I have to get on top of the gator and then use that to get on top of the thumbtack.
Really come out of.
I think that's the mission here.
In a lot of ways, both consciously and unconsciously, a lot of technologists and scientists were weirdly treading on.
Wait for it to come back this way.
Older, kind of more mythic or even sort of mystical.
Got it. Okay.
It's interesting how the transcendent spirituality of the what it was like 2012 moment, how that really nice with kind of the information age of the idea of the singularity.
So we got the idea. It's the execution, as usual, that I need to actually pull off.
Our consciousness and be rid of our bodies altogether. And it was really strange how it seemed like it was these two different
okay.
that somehow we're on to the same idea. But I don't. It's strange because that moment has kind of passed, and I don't know that I feel that same.
Should let me mark in my head where this is gonna.
No, I don't think so. I think in a lot of ways these stories worked.
All right, being right on top of the eyes seems to be safe at least.
I mean, I just think that the reality of matter, the reality of the earth, the reality.
A little bit earlier, and we should be able to pull that off. Come on.
Violence of environmental crisis, of overpop.
Damn it.
There's a sense.
I got hesitant.
The material limits of things that keep some of these more expansive.
No.
Mystical.
Just let me get on a freaking thumbtack, Jesus.
More in check, maybe, than they used to be. I mean, at the same time, when societies begin to break down, then you also see kind of millennialism and crazy apocalyptic ideas. And I'm sure we're not done with these.
That was way too close.
Whether they, manifest themselves in cults or, cult suicides or crazy things like that, but it does seem that it's going to be, I think, on the one hand, probably a little while before we see something as
we're not going to make it unless it's looping towards me. That's for damn sure.
12. That said, who knows what it's
got it. Okay. Stay on there until it goes all the way back.
Augmented reality, integrated into the experience of the world and the kinds of ways that we know that individuals can get into, let's say, gaming worlds or
we're going to want to drop float before we hit the pointy bits.
That people can already start
shit.
In some sense, multiple worlds when more of that is generalized and there's artificial intelligences.
All that for naught. I will say that it definitely feels worth it once you make it, but yikes.
That there's going to be a lot of room for a lot of weird stuff. So I don't think we're done with the consequences of these things. But 2012 was a unique moment where a singularitarian kind of techno-futuristic discourse overlapped with this strange, archaic, apocalyptic idea that Terence McKenna in his alternately brilliant and peculiar way was able to kind of generate in
Come on, man.
And I think that, I've kind of always had a problem with
this one's just mean
brand of Gnosticism that really devalues the flesh, and I think that's one of the reasons why Jeffrey Kripal's work spoke so loudly to me, because his is a real embodied spirituality. So the more ensouled you are, the more embodied you are on some level, and I really that kind of was the direction that this show took to explore the idea of a really embodied spirituality.
Yeah, I agree with that very much. I mean, my own spiritual life has involved a lot of meditation, but a lot of.
I think we should go for a straight jump and then float over. Huh?
Embodied. It's very much about my body. Very much about
dick.
I feel like in many ways, now that I've been doing this stuff for decades, the way that
we are finishing this
fruits manifest is not in some idea about the afterlife or the higher realms or some really special occult.
That's fine. I'll take the little hit.
Some things like that, but that's not really what stays with me. Where I really feel sort of sprightly in the world.
Okay, so again, we got to hit this.
Being an embodied being, having perceptual experiences and interfacing with things and people and places.
Oh, yeah, we got on the side where the pointy thing's not going to hit.
And my own changing body.
That was way too close.
So even though I've been fascinated by Gnosticism and particularly about the kind of conspiratorial side of Gnosticism, the idea that the world isn't.
Think we're wide enough not to get hit by that guy? Yeah, all right, cool.
Over on you. That kind of extra twist, which is really there in ancient Gnosticism. I mean, we think about conspiracy theory as being kind of a contemporary mode, and in many ways it is related to the problems of modernity.
All right, checkpoint.
A couple hundred years. In its in the form that we're familiar with, but if you
it looks like a lower elevator too.
Text, they really are saying like, yeah, that guy,
cool.
Genesis with the garden and all that, he's a false god.
Right.
The real God is beyond him, and they're taking these positions when there's other people in the scene who would have those beliefs, and so they probably came off kind of as...
Hey, let's see if we get the elevator work. If you don't mind, I'm going to take credit for fixing it, though.
Secret knowledge, and then you get the secret knowledge, and then and
okay.
we see those same
We're going to head back down.
Conspiracy theory today. In fact, you can really look at a lot of conspiracy theory in these Gnostic frameworks, because if you find out, like now you figured it out, like, oh, actually 9/11 was run by the lizard kings from Orion, and you're like, and you get the information, and then meaning gnosis,
Okay, so I don't think we can get there yet.
Nobody else really recognizes it. So in a way, you're privileged because you know something, but nobody else really recognizes it because they're all deluded. They're all sort of stuck in this false reality. And so that psychological
Where was the candle guy?
Space, whatever the reality or the truth of the situation, leaving that aside, that psychological
I didn't
space
see it down there.
is very Gnostic in a lot of ways. But if you make this move that you're talking about where you go, yeah, I don't know about this Gnostic antibody thing, like, I think we got to move through the body and be in the world and be in physical matter.
I don't even see where we are on the map.
And,
okay.
Our snot and food and the weather and the environmental issues and all that stuff that comes up. I think it's also a good way to avoid some of the traps that exist psychologically and spiritually in the kind of information age.
It's funny you mentioned 9/11 because that definitely is one of the entry points for a lot of people into these realms. But
yeah, we found a unicorn thing, but
and what a lot of
that was the teleporter. Was there anything else here? No.
There are a lot of strange, what would be high weirdness all around that day.
I'm trying to think where we haven't been yet. Again, we only have 36% done. This might be a longer trip than I thought.
Significant, meaningful numbers all over, right? Whatever, like 9/11, and then
I guess we could take the elevator down to the candle.
Down the rabbit hole into these different numerological meanings, and you get to synchronicity. So instead of what a lot of us found was, instead of like a bunch of bad guys running the show, maybe the universe is running the show in a certain way where we're seeing the architecture of the universe, and that one of the fundamental forces is that we don't necessarily understand yet is synchronicity. And that
we haven't found any coins for the guy who was asking for them.
Where synchronicity is one of these forces through his books. I'm curious if you have, what's your relationship to synchronicity?
Well,
there's one of the devs.
Been interested in it and cultivated it in some sense. I mean, I think we all have the capacity to recognize the, if you want to call them synchronicities, the events, the sort of happenstance events, the serendipitous conjunctions.
I'm gonna go down.
And that part of what it means to start.
Yeah, we're gonna slide down by the candle here. I'm going to try to avoid checkpoints.
I think most people have marvelous.
So if I die, I reappear.
Experiences all the time, but we don't really
back at the top. Okay, they're definitely not down here.
Literally, just there's nowhere to pin them, and they just disappear. And I think that part of what becoming aware of synchronicity means is that you start to tune your perception differently. You start to notice different kinds of patterns.
We did this. We got the thing.
It seems very clear to me that once you start doing that, that the process takes on a life of its own. Where that life comes from, I'm still puzzled by. I think that to have synchronicity be part of your path,
unless they're over on that rightward path, that's the other thing I can think of.
Path or both or whatever. To take that on, you have to accept it as a bit of a trick.
Oh, maybe there's a really long platform to wait for here.
Is mythologically, if we were
that's the only other thing I could think of.
Archetypal figures you
so
might
we'll wait for a minute here and enjoy this delightful podcast.
And the goddess and the witch or whatever.
You sneaky fucker. I see, but okay, you got to keep hopping across. All right, well, at least we figured that out.
That means you got to stay on your feet. That means you got to.
It's trolly as fuck, but
you got to not quite buy it.
We got to jump as soon as it gets there. Okay.
You sort of have to take on the consequences to some degree of what these things look like. And I think it's just the case that if you start to look at certain things, you're going to find both anomalies and synchronicities. I had one wonderful.
Got him. Oh, it's here. There you are. All right. This is you who I was looking for. Thank you.
Dick, actually.
I built the bellows.
Sort of doubled.
Maybe we had one more friend and we all jumped on together. We could blow this candle out. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen in the demo version. Okay.
Synchronicity really enters into popular consciousness when Jung starts to say, well, how would something like the
Let's see what's down below, I guess.
Have an oracle where
won't let me go any further. Never mind.
Or yarrow sticks would actually tell you anything. Well, here's this idea. And the idea itself isn't that solid when you look at it rationally, but it sits in a good place as a kind of interface between a lot of different ways of looking at reality. So let's go with it. And Dick goes with it.
I'm curious where it's inserting the new,
in a lot of his books,
I guess the new MP3s are the blue ones at the top.
Books in them. That
okay, so we have 2 more podcasts left.
And a lot of times people open them to any page or they read them randomly, and there's this idea of kind of random access, which you can do with books. And of course, this was.
So we're missing one key item here, but that's for the map. Again, we need to.
In the ancient world, they would use the Bible, or sometimes they would use.
Take the pointy route here. All right, so we got everything over here now. We met that guy.
And then what they would read would be.
So, hey, what's up, Tinsaga? Yeah, this is great. It's.
There's a
bit tricky. Some of the platforms are a bit tricky, but it's a trip. And the podcasts are on the game soundtrack, and like they explicitly say at the start that you're allowed to play them. It's half music, half podcast, and it's delightful.
He opened up the book to any page, and he asked a question, he got an answer. So
but it's a lot longer a demo than I thought it was going to be. Right now, I'm trying to find parts to. Get an upgrade that'll let me jump on erasers without getting erased. At least not as quickly. She's the map maker. I need one more thing for her, I think.
I hadn't written out everything for this first lecture, which was about...
Don't remember what the third tool was.
Philip K. Dick. And I'm at the New York Open Center. It's like 1989, 1990.
Okay, that was just a tool pickup. All right, so...
And then I'm like,
I'm trying to think where we haven't explored yet.
But I don't have a good. I didn't come up with the definition. I didn't.
Also, the demo has 70 achievements.
People understand what it is if they don't know what it is.
So there's plenty to do here.
The copy of Valis, the paperback copy that I had with.
I don't know how many I've unlocked yet, but
first place that my eyes.
It's been a lot.
Was.
Did I need anything else from you?
The belief.
Oh, that's right. We unlocked this door over here, but I think we went there. Maybe we didn't.
Sentence definition.
Yeah, it was down here.
So that kind of,
did we go here? I don't think. No, okay, we did go to the departures door. I'm pretty sure.
Always, I keep the doors open on the.
Like we have a map, but it's not. Oh, this was the laser and keys.
Respect for it.
So let's
have respect for.
Backtrack a bit where we were earlier here.
A ferocious drug or a.
Oh, there was the stuff topside.
A very stimulating madman.
Okay.
Who lives, you meet in the cafe on occasion. I mean, it's the
demo. This game is still on Kickstarter. They are kickstarting. I know some of the higher tiers you can get a PDF of a tarot deck,
and I do
based on the game, based on some of the elements of the game.
In reality, it's maybe
or you can get a physical tarot deck based on some of the elements of the game. So I'm very tempted to go that high, even though I'm not entirely sure I can budget that.
But I
feel like there might be an achievement if we get Squeesh.
Like Psychosis.
No achievement for Squeesh.
Synchronicity also plays.
Oh wait, let me go back here.
Role not only in characterizing those experiences, but driving them. Like you start to notice things. And
but we'll come back to the departure zone if nothing happens over here. Yeah, because there were the two firemen, and I transferred the bucket for them, but I did not find any coins for the rich man because I think I stopped going up.
Cosmic.
Although actually, no, going up was where we found the person who could give me the upgrade. So if anything, going over here,
terrifying, hellish.
Going back up there, we can figure out what the third item was that I'm looking for.
And I believe that if you go and look at historical events, particularly more recently, if you look at 9/11 and a number of other things, but that's a great example, you are going to find things like this. And if you say you're not finding them, you're not.
So you're in the Mapmaker's tool shed. Okay.
What your experience is, what that means, I'm not sure. I accept a lot of.
That's back in the village. All right, we're going back.
Descriptions of how pattern recognition works, about how statistics work, not as a way to shut off.
We're going back because I know where that is approximately.
That it's very hard to really say what the bottom line is. And in some sense, we're kind of entering into,
we might have already gotten it, but
sort of parallel reality. You mentioned the word rabbit hole.
Yeah, the float is a separate button from the jump as well. But that's really, you don't have any combat abilities, nothing to worry about there. It's all just kind of platforming, puzzling.
Go at it. It's there. It's waiting for you. and you won't.
Oh wait, that's the map. Maps are this way.
On the other side, you might not know anymore, but you won't be the same. It's also the question of the weird experience, even the weird synchronicity, even the one.
So this would be the shed back here, right?
It's also a question about, well, what do you do a half an hour later or the morning after or next week?
I can't jump on anything here.
Are we called upon?
Nope, that's the shed. Okay.
To that
can't go down there.
Profound sense that something really significant is happening or is recognized, or do we realize that too is an experience that comes and goes, like happiness, like despair, like suicide.
I guess I already got it.
Like
that, or they're talking about the
that there's a way in which we
the game Easter egg there in the corner
that give us glimpses of things. But
all right, well, at least that was a quick return.
When we hold on too tightly to the kind of residue of these experiences that might be happening on other levels beyond the specific content. And I say that I don't entirely believe it because I know it's
a little late there.
They're really concrete elements when you look at something like 9/11 or when you look at.
I have 5 other demos to try out tonight too.
Or all the things.
So thank you RNG for. Oh, I played myself on that one.
About that, there's something more.
For putting this one first. I wanted to play this one real bad, but I didn't realize we were going to be here for this long.
And I don't know what to do with that excess, that surplus. But I'm both fascinated and somewhat wary of it.
Yeah, that's good. My reading time is less these days too because I don't have the huge commute up to Tokyo as I used to have because of the coronavirus.
Yeah, I talked to him down below, and he gave me a different message, so that's why I was confused.
So yeah, I have less time to read these days too, but I am trying to.
Basically, anything moving damages me. Is what I've found out here.
Kerouac fix these days. But the big book I got into.
All right.
It's called Some of
This is the Fireman. Yeah, we talked to you. So this is where I want to go up and to the right. For nothing else.
When was it? Like from
then to
53 to 55, 56 maybe?
Figure out
56.
What to do.
It says notebooks on Buddhism, and they just turn into like all kinds.
Gotten good at this part.
And, like haiku and.
There's the rich dude. So the left heads back towards the beginning. So
it's a massive book. It's really dense and it's has all kinds of like.
No, I wanted to get the bell first.
The format of the book, like we were talking about.
But we were good.
It's like each page has a different format to it.
Yeah, so I can't get that out until we get the upgrade. I need to find out what I need for the upgrade. You're the one I want to talk to.
And then he eventually gets it published, but it really gets into his Buddhism, his deep.
So we need to find some ink. That's the key here, which I haven't really.
He just immersed himself.
Seen anywhere.
And then it sets out his whole vision.
All right, so we're going to head back to the departures area.
Literature as being, which is kind of this truth.
Because I don't think there's anything else I can do towards the entrance till I
Interesting, because
get that power up.
The last Kerouac I did with Big Sur, and it feels like that book. I don't know if you've read that one.
Yeah.
He's really coming apart at that point in time. And
yeah, he's having
good job.
Teas and everything else.
All right.
And I think that made him question everything that he believed up to that point.
Yeah, at that time his Buddhism was disintegrating as well. He eventually he gets back into his old.
Yeah, this we had to unlock with a key, and then.
But I was just gonna say, like his vision for his works, though, like his.
Going to the right was how we got all the keys.
Which
I don't remember any side paths that way.
That as containing.
So we're gonna go this way.
Novels, or almost all of his novels, and it's basically autobiographical. But in some of the Dharma, he explains what he meant it as.
Oh, whatever.
At least
okay. It's only 1 hit point to get hit by those, and I'm not carrying anything, so that's fine. There was an item above that laser. We got it already.
Mega novel, all put together, all stitched together of all his 13 novels, but also including all of his poetry, and then his prose writings, including this one, some of the Dharma, and really, it's this kind of Proustian epic of a writer.
Did we go vertical here? I don't think we went down here. Okay, yeah, this is new.
Like a new Buddha of writing for his time.
Oh, I got it.
And that's what he's exploring in all his writing. Like, just this massive concept.
Yeah, we did not go down here. Okay.
He's deeply inspired by the Wake too.
Or did we?
Towards that time, like he
I don't think we did.
This whole published this whole book of poetry, kind of prose poetry called Old Angel Midnight, and it's his spontaneous bop prosody version of Finnegan.
Okay, this was where the vacuum tubes were. Maybe we did go this way.
He just throws everything together all at once. That's a great book to read if you get a chance to find it somewhere.
The reason why
if we went down, then.
Because,
what is it with Kravis? It's driving me nuts.
Like his writings, he's in and around places that I've been in and around too. So like Desolation Angels, he is a fire lookout really not far from where we had our first zinc cabin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow! I didn't realize it was
close.
there.
All right, so I guess we'll try going right.
But then my dad lives not far from. I think it must be in the Dharma Bums, where they're doing a lot of hiking in and around. It's California. It's not far from San Francisco, but it's up in the Sierras.
I remember encountering some of these orbs, but okay, I guess I remember that. Say we didn't go up through here, or did we? That was the item we couldn't get. All right.
And stuff, and so,
although I think I can get it if I go from here.
And so like that was the comment about like.
Just gotta time it so we're not hitting that guy.
Writing about the Midwest, they don't have any connection to that. But when you have a writer writing about the actual landscape, you have it. So like I was telling you about this Nez Perce War book, where they're, it's like this is all the places that like where I grew up, and so.
Well, yeah, we went through all that too.
History happening.
Map check.
Where you've been makes it all the more real or like meaningful for some reason.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's really.
I don't think we picked up the item at the end over there on the number 2, so I guess we'll just keep going this way. If I see anything I forgot on the way,
as soon as I could,
so be it.
Just get out on the road and start hitchhiking. And I went back and forth.
The cloud is our friend.
US and down to Mexico and Central America, and that was all kind of inspired by.
We got to get on him.
Actually. But
I thought I had read a lot more of him than I have. It's not very many, like 4.
Yeah, I'm just reading.
Yeah, we talked to the bird already.
Satori in Paris right now, which is one of, I think, his last, second last little book. It's a tiny little book. If you
Okay, I remember Murder Unicorn Party here.
a day or less than a day.
These are not the unicorns that the guy was asking me to.
He's completely alcoholic. He's like 43.
That's gonna go well. Don't ride one of those.
He's old for his age, even, and he's just stumbling drunk through the streets of Paris and Bray and and trying to trace down his.
Honestly, we haven't hit any electric things yet. Okay, this is definitely bad.
It's still good.
But now, were you saying that they made the book, like his vision of stitching together all his novels and all his poetry and everything?
Okay, I made it that time. That was actually easier than I expected.
That's just his vision of it, and I've only read about it in some of the Dharma. Like everybody knows about the legend of Dolowitz, and that he had this idea that all of his novels, like about 13 novels, are all
right.
Intended
we got
to
there.
One big legend, of this one guy, Jack Dolowitz.
Let's see if I can't float over from this one to the right.
In some of the Dharma,
no, I can't even leave that low.
That it actually, his vision of it.
See if there's anything up top there. Nope.
Just that, it includes all of his poetry and his prose writing, and his writing on the Dharma and Buddhist Dharma, and
the books.
I already made the Medusa head comment earlier. Those bastards.
So it's like he removes reality one step and renames all the people in his life something different.
Yeah, he had to. His intention was to keep the original names, but his publishers wouldn't allow that. So
the names, even though do they? So
jumping too early, and I'm probably gonna die here anyway.
What is that guy's name? Why can't I think of his name?
Neil Cassidy?
Just blast me.
Yeah.
Moriarty?
I'll take the death at this point. Alright, let's try it again. We've made it up there before.
David Cassidy. I was like, what? No. But, these same characters, they don't have the same name in the different books, do they?
Oh, come on.
No, he gets called...
I thought I had more of a gap there.
Gets called something different in Dharma Bumps and
I'm mostly just glad we got the elevator activated near the candle, so I don't have to worry about that. You missed most of that nightmare. I didn't see in chat.
He's Dean Moriarty.
Hey, number 3, get the fuck out.
Focuses on him, but then
we
there's
can't go any further right. So
I haven't read. I think it's called what is it? Visions of Neil? I don't know if it's called Visions of Neil. No, it's not Visions of...
Is it Visions of Cody?
Yeah, Cody, I think it is, yeah. I think that's about him, too. Visions of Cody. So that's kind of like a...
oh, come on!
It's kind of like the more avant-garde version of On the Road.
I played enough Symphony of the Night to be infuriated by by the Medusa heads and that.
Did you know that
I love unicorns.
also became a fashion?
Oh, I do see that they are looking angry.
Yeah.
Please stop.
He's
stop.
another one of those guys.
That loop on those ones.
I think that's why Gas is... That's one of his inner texts, because...
What do you make of that? And then how do you... make that make sense with what happened with the alt-right? Is that what you're considering, or have you thought about that?
Oh, yeah. So that's a deep question. The same thing happened.
We're
with
gonna die.
And a bunch of different people. Even Yeats and Eliot and Wyndham Lewis, that whole group of vorticists or English modernists all went...
this was rough the first time. It wasn't this rough.
There's all kinds of people, like even Carl Jung and Iliade and all of these people that kind of...
Oh, just kill me. Just kill me.
All veered...
Not worth it.
Even Joseph Campbell,
Accused of anti-Semitism.
Yeah, well, you read his stuff, and he definitely doesn't like
Judeo. Lose half my life right away.
Judeo part of it. But yeah, that's a huge question, right? Like, why does that happen? Like in some ways, the right is a lot more receptive.
All right, sketch me back up. Cool. Made it to a checkpoint. We're good now.
Just a sort of spiritual or non-materialist view of things. That the left
So now I'm going to take the death again, so we get back to the checkpoint. But all right, progress.
Kind of outlawed, you know, as being bourgeois and as being reactionary, etc. Right, where the original manifestation of the left was a lot more inclusive of that kind of spiritual.
I don't think I have to go over there. I don't know. Yeah, we do have to go over there to get enough height to.
My whole thing is just trying to reintroduce that, you know.
There we go.
Spiritual
Make that
of the left. But to get that, you almost have to go through these kind of right-wing lunatics and try to ransack their writings for the good nuggets as well. Like another guy is.
Do you have an...
Go ahead.
I do like that you can stall the float, by the way.
It sounds like we're in for quite a ride as far as.
Oh, well, I could make that dodge. All right. Oh. I thought these orbs were spicier than they seem to be.
It just.
Yeah.
Like he might be.
Okay, there doesn't seem to be anything up higher than that.
Just as Haiti is, like, or you know, is that a word?
Well, it is now.
Stormy.
Displeasure. Like he also has displeasure with the world as much as Kohler.
Yeah.
We didn't really float rightward on this one, so.
The character in the book.
Oh, there wasn't much rightward to float. Okay.
It's not like just this grumpy old professor in his house. You know.
This was where it was rightward to float.
If that's actually, I don't know if the character in the novel is actually Celine, but it probably is.
Interesting. Oh, we didn't catch this before.
I think, and like were you saying that he influenced Kerouac?
Yeah, he was a huge influence on Kerouac through Burroughs. So Burroughs turned
Found that before.
Kerouac onto Celine. But again, Kerouac is another one. Like last time we were talking, and you were saying that Ulysses is sort of the yes, and the tunnel.
Talk to you.
No. Kerouac.
We got the pen cap.
Yes, as well. Like he emphasizes that point too.
I'm gonna see if I can die without hitting a checkpoint.
But I think Celine is very much the no.
I guess that checkpoint's supposed to be before the fight. Because, this is... The character says it's a boss fight.
It's like trying to figure out what happened in those days.
But there's no fights in this, so...
Compare that to what's happening now, or what might happen now. And maybe using it as trying to prevent.
So I don't think there's anything hidden up top there after all. If they, especially they're going to throw me a checkpoint right here.
Now, too, though, it's like it's not like there are any poets that are the voices of the age so much.
I remember this. Okay, we did the vacuum tubes.
Yeah, unless you include stuff like hip hop or.
Talk to you.
Like that, or.
Thank you for your assistance.
Musicians, definitely. In the 60s, it was music, but there were actual...
Elevator goes up and down, but we're going to go right first instead of the tube.
You know, that were well-known and sold their work and stuff like that, but I was
jump off of you.
Reality is like such a drug, or it's just so encompassing, we don't have much room for the imagination. Maybe...
So, yeah, if anything, I didn't do over here. Although I recognize that cloud, so...
Anymore. We just
I don't remember not being able to jump
and they're the ones who
up into here, though. That's interesting. We can't go very high, though. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like in that introduction you read.
Oh, we couldn't get off height here. That's right.
Yeah, I was just I'm trying to make the point that there are.
Oh!
Good friend in London.
All right, this is what we missed earlier. Okay.
Excellent, amazing poet.
You sneaky bastards.
He.
All right, so this is going to be new. Cool owl. All right, there's an elevator there. What did we get item-wise?
He does his.
That's not the ink we needed, but that'll get me a full map.
On the street,
if we take it to the map maker. All right.
That he just types off of a manual typewriter and gives it to the person who requests it, and they read it and often break out into tears. You know, like he's just that good. Like he's got the process down. You know, like he's
real floaty hours. Interesting. Although it looks like there's some stuff off to the right too.
It's more. I guess I don't know if I should call it serious, but more
investigate here.
Personal poetry.
There's a checkpoint there.
I think people like that exist. Not too many, you know, but...
All right, we finally made some progress. I apologize for anybody who's been here for the full backtrack. I'm not going to remember to edit that out of the archive. And we did learn some things along the way, so it's fine. Everything's fine.
And they are good.
Yeah, even those people, like, I don't know, I don't want to put them down, because I think they're good poets.
That was the bell we hit. Cool.
It's like...
We're still looking for some ink, though. That's the key thing here.
Everything, right? So,
all right. I feel like... Oh, I see.
Of a poet laureate, it's almost...
And there's a key over there, too. Okay. Like the moon.
Like writers and... writers
you can jump on Thumbtack, but...
libraries and stuff. Like, I'm not... I don't want to put down any of their books.
You know what it is? I would say the life of the mind used to be more robust, and so like people could make a living just writing short stories because people read short stories. There was less. There was just more.
We haven't touched ground yet, so I don't have floats back.
There was just more
touch ground. Floats back. Oh, there's that's the green behind you. I didn't even.
And I don't watch very much television.
Register that either.
All right. Realize that when I glimpse how much television.
Health refill at checkpoint, but no new ding because we're good to go.
Like it's kind of shocking to me.
I can't get hit while holding this key or we drop it. So. Oh wait, that's right. Go up.
That's out there. But
load it.
There's so much.
Notebook, Thumbtack, floaty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I guess we gotta go.
Poetry is, but I. Maybe to
that's a scary baby thing that somebody was worried about earlier.
Movies and everything else, it involves such a huge.
I do not like the sound of that.
You wonder how much.
Seems incredibly annoying. All right, I hope.
In there, you know. Like,
I'm just saying.
Oh God, no! Fuck that baby.
Out of the Jews.
All right, well.
And so there's still poets, but slice of pie that now goes to poets.
Actually, we're not as damaged as poets, so
everything is.
And we can retop right there.
And so.
All right, that baby's an asshole.
It's way harder to be like a poet these days.
Yeah, and I think
Little Ghost said, "Fuck them kids."
Have become because of that.
Thumbtack, then do it.
Maybe that's a reason, or one of the reasons is that poets have become more timid, you know? You could get into the original roots of poetry. Like
good job. I don't know how I got out of that before. I guess we okay, I think we just run across the bottom for that. That's the deal.
These guys have... They're like the bards. They have ultimate power.
I really wish I could recheckpoint it above the platform, but this is what I get for being ambitious. Floaty?
You know, they
no, not floaty. And then floaty.
Orpheus, you know, Orpheus made the rocks and trees cry. You know, you know that's the power of
and up and over, and drop down.
Alive again, and I just don't think.
Got to be fast.
Okay. People take that seriously.
And drop down. Wasn't sure if I was going to make that. Re-up my life.
I was thinking,
cool.
So I subscribed to Harper's Magazine for years, and I've gotten kind of tired of it. It's like, I should just cancel this.
Floaty?
Resubscribe to
nope,
poetry.
Don't, now floaty.
I used to get
Notebook.
That, and it's just like
Thumbtack.
You know? Lots of different kinds of poems. And
okay.
Lots of different poets, and...
Yeah, I'm sure there's great stuff out there.
To what you're saying. Yeah.
I want to follow this baby as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I don't want to follow it when it comes low. You son of a fuck ass.
You know, and I know other poets aren't much into Ginsberg maybe or whatever, but at least...
I want to see what's on that left side thumbtack or paperclip, if anything, too.
Early 50s, right? Or mid-50s, I guess.
This is still less infuriating than the candle segment was earlier, so...
back
I'll take
to
it.
that original.
Some very precise jumping there as opposed to just avoiding baby.
That words have and should have. And I think that's an honest.
There doesn't seem to be anything going on here. So don't worry about that. Okay, and then run it.
How much of that, like even Ginsberg, I don't know how far he went with that. Like his background.
Come on, man.
In, Marxism, so he still has that kind of materialist worldview in the back of his mind, you know. Whereas earlier poets, it's like.
Actually, I think if we hold float through here, it'll keep us from going up. Right? Yes. Ah! I paid attention during the tutorial. I did not pay attention during the tutorial. Okay.
Spirits are everywhere. And like nature fully animated. But
a little worried about not taking a health refill, but whatever.
That comes back, you know?
So don't chase it quite as quickly.
I was just talking to Wally about that the other day. And we're talking about the idea that maybe
no!
comes to the point where the symbol set to describe reality, so-called, or physical.
So I can just get the key to that lock. It's just a hair away.
Become fuzzier and fuzzier necessarily because
then that opens up.
It's just really,
and it won't erase my progress.
More contradictory.
Once it's done, that's not a concern. All right.
Fuzzier than actual language, actual conversational language, and then poetic language, right? And so, if they get deeper and deeper into that, then maybe
we're getting cleaner to that part.
Maybe the poets become king again.
Take what I can get.
They will be the ones who. They'll be the main physicists. They're the ones who are describing reality most accurately.
You can't use a word that hundreds and thousands and millions of people haven't already used.
Right.
Okay, now go.
Sounds we can make with our mouth.
Got it. Okay, it's open. Got another achievement.
Then you're talking.
Got another baby to deal with, but whatever.
To yourself.
You little shit.
Communicate with other people. You have
we didn't touch the ground, so I didn't get.
Which is something.
I hate babies.
That the originality consists in using their words to start.
Okay, but the door's unlocked now. We don't have to worry about the key. We can just get the hell up there. Pain in my ass. I hate babies.
The art comes in.
Absolutely. I think just to recall the thunder of Finnegan, or the 10 thunders, I believe, of Finnegan's
Wake. Yeah, that's right. 100-letter words. Well, I was going to say, you notice there are 10 of them in Finnegan's Wake. 9 of them are 100 letters long. 1 of them has an extra letter. It's 101 letters.
Oh.
Grand total of letters, 1,001.
Right.
And that brings what to mind?
All right. Checkpoint.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
1,001 nights.
1,001 nights.
And Finnegan's Wake is a night book.
Night as in?
As in good night.
Not as in chivalry. Or maybe...
No.
Oh, we gotta get over here. Okay. Oh, I forgot to float that, but all right.
At night because Joyce said he had to put the language to sleep. In order to loosen it up.
Oh, that makes sense.
We need to land. Okay. But I probably need the height.
It would be very free.
Oh my god.
Free of its.
We did it. We got there. What's up, buddy? You got some ink? In the full game, this passage will take you to the main bookshelf, which is some whole other shit, but this is just the demo. We got the bottle of ink. Let me give you the bottle of ink you'd have found there in the full game. I can't imagine how long the full game is going to be. But we got the ink, so now we can get the power up.
Aside from being thunders, thunderclaps, which
and we're halfway there, apparently.
Here you can hearken back to
hi.
The words at the creation of the universe.
Half-pipe slip slide? All right.
These are that kind of thing, because each of them concerns a
All right, we've been here. This looks familiar. I don't need to go back this way.
Technologies in the book.
Now I need to remember how to get back to...
And the one before it, number 9, is about...
I'm going to go under.
2 big technologies, very noisy ones. The motor car and the airplane. In an era when mufflers were new.
Right.
Thanks for hanging around. I guess that might be for playing for a certain amount of time.
And so all the rhythms in that thunder are those of the reciprocating engine. In fact, all of the words that structure that thunder are words for cough in about 19 or 20 languages.
Really?
Yes.
Why cough?
Because the engine coughs and sputters.
All right, well, if we get the eraser power up, we can get the pickup towards the entrance.
I've always found it interesting that prior to the invention of the loudspeaker, thunder, maybe prior to the invention of the
I think there's some stuff. North
was one of the rare occasions
Village and Penn.
People had the
East.
experience of
So I want to go.
Pretty much. The natural response, though,
Village, I can find my way back to where we need to go for.
is they immediately get hold of the shaman and say, "What did he say?" Because they figured thunder was the gods.
From here.
And the shaman was supposed to listen to it. This is interpretation of the Book of Nature. Here's thunder, and you go ask the guy who is supposed to be able to read these things. What does it say? What does it mean? So the thunders are ambigrams too.
Oh yes, absolutely, or polygrams even.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, one of the thunders, the second one in the book, is composed, it's the only one in the book that has words for thunder in it, although part of the
I want to get to myself. All right, so
approach to the thunderclaps is that they're all made up of words for thunder. They're not. Only one is. The second thunder is made up exclusively of words that mean thunder in exactly 17 languages.
Interesting. And what technology does the second one evoke?
Clothing.
Okay.
And weaponry.
all right, so we gotta get across there. So I want this guy.
All at once. Oh yeah, well, that and a couple of dozen other things, but the main lines of force in the thing.
Okay.
Thunder,
I remember this now.
the sound of a new technology being born, and the effect on language.
And that would be, it's the thunder's kind of reverberation.
Although we hit a checkpoint on the way there, right? Yes. Okay.
In the spectrum of nominalists and nominalism and
Erasers should be less of a problem soon.
believe that the names of things are simply arbitrary labels that you slap onto something, and that's what it's called. The realists
We got a little push down there.
contraire, mon ami.
Hop back on there.
The word and the thing are kind of a
Got him. All right.
Yes.
and the word is the way the thing translates itself into human experience. And as you go from one culture to another, the experience of the same thing is a different experience.
And a different word.
And so it would produce different sounds and a different word. And
Wait, no, we need to go left.
a collection
Well, I guess
of
up and left, so.
humanity makes of this or that or another event or technology.
So could it be construed that thunder is a kind of colossal act of naming?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
I'll just take the village route.
In the book of Genesis.
Right.
The act of naming was the act of creation. In the Garden of Eden, apparently.
Did we take this? No, yeah, we did. We have taken this route. Okay.
Was to name things.
Right.
To find the names for things.
I guess I gotta go.
Right.
So his was an act of
I think up to that point too.
Now, you mentioned in On Formal Cause this, and forgive me,
No, go ahead.
But speaking of Adam.
Okay, there's the laser.
And.
Speaking of Adam.
Yes. This idea that he at some point did have a. Could read the so-called Book of Nature and then lost that ability.
Yes.
Now, it's been a while since I've read the Book of Genesis, I have to confess.
Okay, it's right from here. All right. Although we got to go over the finger-looking thing. All right. My brain has finally remembered what the heck we're doing here.
I guess I'm wondering when he was he given the task of naming, or was this
yes?
And was this before or after he fell?
Okay.
His first job. By himself. There's no one else around.
Good job.
Okay. So Nate,
try that again. All right, we're there.
The creator.
Check. Like you were describing before,
Don't
depending
squeeze.
on,
Okay.
what
That's
part
right.
of the world you come from and what time you happen to live in.
Probably gonna take a hit, but whatever.
Word or
Checkpoint
sound
there.
will have a very distinct meaning versus
Okay. And then we're gonna go up and to the right.
somebody maybe 200 years
After we, fuck up this
on the other
jump.
side of the planet, you may make the same sound and it will mean something obviously completely different. And if such a thing were able to,
And I'm gonna go all the way back to the start, but that's because there's goodies there.
that would be actually you would break down all of these ambigrams and be able to categorize them as they occurred in a certain geographical location at a certain time.
And I think what we'll do is we'll actually head back to the village.
You just took them as they were. You'd wind
Get that map.
thunderclaps in Finnegan's wake.
The proper map.
He was collecting
Oh.
all of the human responses to this or that or another technology. Not in terms of their ideas, but in terms of the raw
We'll
perception.
also be able to get that thing. But okay. Here's your goodies. Please, give me a power up. Wonderful. You've assembled all the pieces I need. Step over to the crafting station. We'll get you a protective pen outline right away.
Of knowing things.
Sure.
Thank you.
It is also an encyclopedia of the experience of the culture.
All right. New tarot card.
Not in the meaning.
It's a testimony of
It's an encyclopedia.
right the language
Raw
itself.
perception.
And repaired ink outline required to grow a new direction or dimension. Expand your abilities and access the world around you. Step on erasers all you like. Oh, and it's like a glowy shield. Interesting.
Both
Yeah.
temporal.
All right, so we're gonna grab the thing that was over here first.
Perceptions of the users. This brings to mind something I've been intending to get at for a little while
Sweet.
in this conversation.
Get some fresh audio.
Coming back to ambigrams,
Sure.
that's becoming a very popular word.
Yes, it is.
All right, this doesn't open up. Maybe it would open up in the full game.
Understanding media,
Fine by me.
two meanings.
Anything else to talk about before we move
Always
back?
impose one and ignore the other, which is a big mistake.
Erasers are our
More
friends.
important. On the one hand, a medium is a thing like a radio or a television or
Not fireproof though.
a writing system. These are medium. But the broader idea of medium, and the one that is more generally meant for, is an environment.
Okay.
Wait, there's a guy here. Okay.
Every technology brings with
Thank you
it
for being a bro.
an environment of changes. And that environment is a medium, a milieu.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
So yeah, now we're gonna head back to the entrance area, which
On the very
you
first
came in late, you didn't see, but there's erasers right there. Yeah, there's erasers to the left of the start.
medium is an environment, a whole environment
Also, I don't think we went that way.
that are brought along
Let's go left first because I know there's stuff there.
technology. Changes to your daily habits.
You can walk behind this, yeah. Okay, I remember that now.
Your way of life. For example,
Dino Bro.
the medium of the computer is all the changes that accompany the
We
thought.
wait for Dino Bro.
In business, changes in private
We
life.
finally get this freaking item over here. Up. Later, nerd.
The road is not
This is
cars.
a very good tutorial opening area.
And we can talk about cars as media, fine. But the medium of the car is the road and the oil and gas companies and parking lots
And the polluted air.
and polluted air, yeah. The medium is a whole set of good and evil changes.
Stand on this. Yeah, okay.
Actually invisible. When you're using the car or you're using
Finally.
the one thing you're not thinking about is the medium.
Oh, there's actually a check thing here. So there's
Content of any
11 more MP3s, one more card. We have all the crafting items.
stuff.
Trying to appreciate a meaning, you need to go back to the beginning. It's like reading a book, you know? You need to start a book at the beginning. And this is one of the things about Sync that I feel has a slightly sinister twist to it.
Let's say content of
Is
television.
that you enter into it, it's like a gyroscope, you know? And you can't really know what the beginning is. What's your deal, friend?
Newspapers.
Right.
I hope you enjoyed this demo. In the full game, this passageway will lead to a cell phone that you can go inside, and I'll be trying to kick your butt.
And plays.
However, in this demo, this passageway leads to the correct and into our playtime together.
The
If you
content.
want to keep playing or collect the items and such, just turn around and come back when you're ready. Alright, okay, so we only need 11 more MP3s
Right.
and one more card. I mostly want the one more card, so... Oh,
What it changes actually is the user.
Yes.
And ultimately, the content of any medium is the user. The content of radio is the listener. And in the process of becoming content, you get worked over and changed and retuned. And
doesn't look connected to anything. I think it's just holding the
are reshaped and refashioned.
Thing up. All right, so
about a whole lot of things. Which now the content of
I want to go up and around.
Media, by which I mean digital media, is.
But yeah, I remember there was there were definitely some erasers near the candle section.
You've been in the music.
We're basically just going to re-explore everything real quick. But now that we have the different shortcuts, and I am going to go stop and get the map.
Are you familiar with the term scudomorphism?
Back at the village, so.
No.
Okay, so this is a term I learned in just reading about
the village stop should be
at Apple Computer.
A lot easier to get to now.
And prior to Steve Jobs' death, he was a huge component or proponent of a user interface design aesthetic known as scudo.
I couldn't remember if there was anything eraser related over here, so we're gonna check it real quick.
SKEU.
Okay.
DO. Yeah. I might have a few of those.
All right, we don't want to do a spicy town.
That's all right.
Let's just go down.
But the idea is, for example, and this is a heated debate between Jobs and his.
Go down where there's not pointy things.
And Jobs was in favor of this scudomorphism, and the other guy obviously really abhorred it. But the idea is essentially.
Wozniak?
An easy example is when you open a calendar application.
I said other guy. That's the only other guy I can think of when it comes to Apple.
Looking at it from the view of a single month, and then, like, let's say you open it and it's January, and then you go to February. At the top of the calendar application, there's a little graphic that looks like the leftover tear-off.
Still don't have any coins, but.
So the user interface would actually.
I'm not gonna worry about it. All right, so just look for erasers that might lead somewhere, I guess.
In some way.
Or to the village, which I think is just over this way. Yeah, the village is just pretty much straight to the left. So we'll get the map,
that you would click
the
on
proper
a
map.
to look three-dimensional, like it's a physical button, or basically this tendency to bring in the attributes of the physical objects that you're now approximating and simulating.
Screw that guy.
To drive home the familiarity, the user friendliness of it. And this is a design style that has now been completely abandoned.
Yeah, we never found the unicorn emoji, at least not yet.
It started a couple, like they always update the software on the phone every year or so, and I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago when they came out with the completely flat design.
Well, I'm not floating now. Hit the button.
Yeah.
It's very visually appealing, but for a lot of users, they really struggle with knowing.
All right, village. Get map.
What's a button and what's just a static symbol on the page or on the screen.